Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. Today, we are discussing a lovely late Patek Philippe 3970EG. So this one right here is the 3970EG-018. It is a fantastic timepiece that could be described as damn close to the perfect watch. In white gold, this watch is 36 millimeters in diameter. It is 12.9 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 43.5 millimeters with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. While intended in its day as a men's watch, today 36 millimeters makes it a wonderful unisex option. Of course, this model ran from 1985 through 2004. Approximately 4,000 pieces were made over 3, or depending on some accounting, 4 series. And the watch you see here was close to the end as it was sold in 2001 and features all of the Series 3 characteristics. The timepiece is easy to wear on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. Being so short across the wrist, I could recommend it for a wrist as small as 13 centimeters circumference. Taking a look at the strap, you can see it is medium rectangular scale alligator leather. It's thick cuts, though there's not a whole lot of bolstering. The leather itself is just thick. Matte finish, monotone stitch, sheer cut edge, calfskin on the bottom. You can see that the watch includes a matching white gold single fold Calatrava cross style folding clasp. This will help protect you from accidentally dropping your lovely Perpetual calendar chronograph. Snaps shut with a reassuring click as the tolerances remain excellent. Now, taking a look here at the lug profiles, you can see that the fluting has lost a little bit of definition. I would describe this case as an 8 out of 10 and the rest of the watch as a 10 out of 10. But take note, the watch has been worn, and at least once or twice it has been refinished. So this one is best described as a nice daily driver in particularly good condition. The case flank is remarkably complex. You can see it has a rounded, almost pot-bellied profile in the midsection, and then the case back is deeply recessed, so when it's on the wrist, it creates the impression of a much thinner watch. It also has a concave bezel profile that helps to visually pare down the apparent mass and make the watch look slimmer and trimmer. The crown is somewhat countersunk into the flank, so it doesn't stick out quite as much, and we have a lovely set of classically beautiful pump-style chronograph pushers. The dial is a gloss black base. Clean off my fingerprints. You can see the hands as well as the indices are beautifully faceted white gold, so they won't oxidize or tarnish over time. It is a perpetual calendar chronograph, so you have the day, the date, the month, the leap year phase indicator, and a moon phase. This perpetual calendar can deal with irregular length months as well as leap years. The moon phase only needs to be reset once every 122 years, and you can see that we have a chronograph with a lovely chugging, slow 18,000 vibration per hour beat rate as expressed in the staggered jumps of the chronograph seconds hand. I love a big, long chrono seconds hand on a 2.5 hertz movement. It's watchmaking the way we were. Now, you will see that this watch features a semi-instantaneous minute jumper when the seconds hand gets up to the index at 60. The Perpetual calendar chronograph since 1941 has been a signature complication for Patek Philippe, and especially during the 90s. There's your jump right there. The 3970 in all its iterations was the iconic Patek, the perpetual calendar chronograph for that generation. It was also the first perpetual calendar chronograph that Patek made to widely switch from the use of a Valjoux movement base to a Lemania movement base, and that's what we have on the reverse side. You can see that this is described as a EG, not just a G, because it is a Tarnish. It is a water-resistant case. 30 meters, not a lot, but more than the old snap case-back watches Patek had made prior to the 80s and the 90s. Now, taking a look at the movement, you can see it's called the CH2770 QP. So QP contient perpetuel. It is a perpetual calendar, but it is also a column wheel lateral clutch chronograph. The capped column wheel, a Geneva style, originally conceived for functional purposes like most elements of aesthetic finishing. The cap was intended to prevent the horns from the levers and the clutch from popping out the crenellated top in the case of shock. So the cap was designed to keep everything located inside the column wheel. Today, it's finished artisanally with a black polished screw at center and then solar colorization around the edge. Column wheel feel is excellent. The lateral clutch is big, beautiful, and handsomely finished. You can see we have a balance of enormous size, almost the radius of the movement like a pocket watch, beating away at 18,000 vibrations per hour. It's adjusted in 6 positions, which is outstanding and more than a typical chronometer. It features an overcoil hairspring, so it keeps consistent time in any physical orientation with respect to gravity. And you can see that it has a free-sprung Gyromax style architecture. This is a 24 jewel movement that is Lemania based. It's the Lemania 2310 Bausch, though the movement is extensively elaborated with, among other things, the overcoil hairspring, the free-sprung balance, Geneva hallmark levels of finish, and a significantly upgraded 60-hour power reserve. Speaking of Geneva hallmark, you can see that there's mirrored beveling on the edge of all major surfaces, both steel chronograph components and rhodium-plated brass bridges. You can see that well on the chronograph bridge. The chronograph components have satination across their top. The bridges feature Côte de Genève. There's engine turning on the base plate. All screw heads are black polished with chamfered slots and circumference, and it has a wonderful depth to it, as well as a luminous, open, airy character that's sometimes lost on modern chronographs that have vertical clutch systems or automatic winding. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.